Hi, welcome everyone to this session on working with async and await. We're going to see the impact of async and await on asynchronous processes as well as the impact of these keywords individually on functions and function call. So first we'll see the impact of putting async keyword in front of any function. In this code, we'll simply create a small function calling async, and this function will return a simple value. So we'll return a value 1 from it. And we'll try to invoke the function and console log the values that has been returned. So inside this console log, we'll be calling this function. Let's look for the output. So the output that we can see over here is a simple value 1. Now let's append a async keyword in front of this function. So now let's execute this function again. Now in the output, you can see that the value that you have received is no longer a simple value 1. It is a promise which is returned from a asynchronous function. So we have marked this calling async function as asynchronous. So whenever you are calling this particular function, it is returning you a promise along with the value that you are returning out of it. So in order to summarize the impact of async keyword, we can say that appending an async keyword in front of a function returns a promise from that particular function. Also, in case that particular function is returning some value, the value will be available as a resolved value of that particular promise. Also, if no value is returned, the resolved value of that particular promise would be undefined. So putting async keyword in front of a function makes it a function which returns a promise along with some resolved value. So promise are usually asynchronous. If you are putting a await keyword in front of a promise, it signifies that we have to wait for that particular promise to be resolved. So until and unless that promise is not resolved or rejected, we have to wait for the output. So let's see, with the help of example, we'll be creating a promise and then we'll be making that promise as synchronous rather than asynchronous process. So in this example, we are going to create a custom promise. So let's create a variable my promise, and we'll create promise using a keyword new promise in JavaScript. This particular promise variable takes a callback function, and this callback function takes as a parameter resolve and reject keyword. So what we have to do inside this promise is we are simply making this promise wait for certain amount of time. So let's put a set timeout of 3000 millisecond. So after 3000 millisecond, we'll be putting a resolve keyword with some data. So we have a resolve value which is executed. So we have a custom promise over here. This custom promise will make your system wait for 3000 millisecond, and then after 3000 millisecond, this promise would be resolved. Let's try to invoke this promise. So let's create a function invoking promise, and inside this function we'll be calling this promise my promise dot then. So we want to wait for this promise to be resolved, and then we want to invoke a callback function. This callback function will get some data and will console.log this data. After the promise call, we'll be consoling some output as well. So again, we have created a small function which is invoking promise, which is calling this particular promise, and once this promise is resolved, we are calling a console message and we are displaying the data returned from the promise. After that, we are doing a console log and notifying that the function has been executed. Now let's invoke this function and find out what is the order of execution. So we are invoking this promise function. Let's save this, clear out the console and run this program. So when we execute this function, we can see that we got the console log message execution complete prior to the message executed, which means this promise was asynchronous. It got resolved after 3000 millisecond. Meanwhile, your single threaded execution went on to line 13, executed this console messages, and once the data was available in the promise, once the promise was resolved, the data which was executed was displayed. So let's put a debugger over here on line 10 as well as on line 13. So we'll just execute it again. we'll see line 13 has been triggered first, and then after a certain amount of time, the line 10 would be triggered. Let's put one more console on line 9 and let's re-execute. We'll see that we come on line 9. Over here we are invoking the promise. Then we go to line 13 because this promise is an asynchronous process and will take time in order to execute and resolve. So meanwhile, the single threaded execution of JavaScript will proceed to the left out line of code inside that particular function. Once the promise has been resolved, it goes back to the resolved promise callback function. It console logs the message that we have received, and then the execution is complete. So in this entire process, we see that this my promise resolution is an asynchronous process, and your single threaded execution of JavaScript didn't wait for this promise to be resolved. Instead, it went further and executed rest of the lines. What we'll do now is we'll introduce the keyword async and await. Putting a async keyword signifies that a function has a asynchronous process. So since my function invoking promise has asynchronous process, what I'll do is I'll put async. So we have the keyword placed in front of a function which has a asynchronous process, and then inside this asynchronous process we are telling this my promise to wait until it resolves. So we are putting a await keyword over here and we are saying let's wait for this promise to be resolved in order to proceed further. So we have placed this async and await keyword. Now let's execute this code again to see the impact. So first let's execute this code without any debugger. Let's run this. So we'll see we are waiting for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, you got the first message which was executed and then execution complete. So when we appended a keyword await, it means that we have to wait for this promise to be resolved in order to proceed further. Because of which we waited for 3 seconds for this particular promise to be resolved. So let's put a debugger on line 9, a debugger on line 2, 3, as well as 10 and 13 and see the entire flow of execution. So let's rerun this code. So we created the promise, then we came to this particular function, we invoked the function invoking promise. Over here we have to wait for the promise, then this particular promise is resolved. After the resolution of this particular promise, we invoke the callback of this promise. We have console.log data. Then we have our JavaScript executing the line of code 13 and the program exits. So if you have multiple promises inside your function, you can put a keyword await in front of them in order to tell your JavaScript thread that they have to wait for all those promises to be resolved. So this way, this async and await keyword can make your execution synchronous rather than the asynchronous process. So that is how these keywords work in JavaScript, and definitely they are great addition. At multiple places you usually require that the process should go in a synchronous manner rather than asynchronous manner. So over there you can use this async and await keyword. But always keep in mind when you are using this async and await, you're stopping the thread from executing further, making it all synchronous. But the overall speed of execution, the overall time which is taken by a function to execute increases. So yep, that's it on async and await. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel.